A UPenn professor was doing a math equation on a flight, but unfortunately, a person sitting next to him was alarmed at the symbols that she couldn't understand and started asking him some questions. He was so involved in the math equation that he was solving that he didn't really answer her questions to her liking, and so she immediately reported him as a possible terrorist. All right, so let's take a look at this guy. Guido Menzio is his name, which is the most Italian name that's ever been created. Okay. Right? His name is Guido. Okay. His name is Guido.
Look, there are terrorists from all different religions and races. There's the Tamil Tigers. For a long time, there was the IRA, etc. But I have to confess that I've never heard of a terrorist named Guido.
Guido Menzio.
Yeah. I've heard of some bad dudes from Jersey named Guido, but no terrorists, let alone any Ivy League mathematicians.
So he's working on this math equation, and it's apparently super complicated, using a lot of symbols that most people, myself included, wouldn't understand. And so this woman starts asking questions, right? And he didn't answer it the way she liked, so she reports him, and then all of a sudden she goes off the plane. And then soon after, he gets approached by members of the FBI. And he's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I'm just doing some math, right? Mm-hmm. Just get off my nuts. And after they asked
Not
him,
exactly what the Ivy League professor said.
That's not what he said.
That was not verbatim.
So he posted about this on Facebook. He said, the pilot comes to me and asks me out of the plane. There I met with some FBI-looking man in black. They ask me about my neighbor. I tell them I noticed nothing strange. They tell me she thought I was a terrorist because I'm writing strange things on a pad of paper. I laugh. I bring them back to the plane. I showed them my math. At that point, they let him go, but the flight was delayed an hour and a half. So, first of all, for anyone who wasn't even involved in all of this but happened to be on the plane, you should be really upset that we live in this climate where anything that someone doesn't understand is immediately like a terrorist threat.
Yeah. So, okay, let's get into it. This is unfortunately the world we've created, and I actually, all those signs that are in the subways, the airports, etc., bother me. Like, see something, say something. Like, look, if you see a bomb, for God's sake, please right away get a guard, get 911. We're all in the airports, we're all in the subways. Nobody wants to die, right? But like the constant, like, oh, to spy on your neighbors, like look around suspiciously. No. And, oh, that's a weird language I don't understand. Dude, it's not even a language, it's math. But it freaks me out, and you look slightly Middle Eastern. Oh my God, I'm gonna panic. I gotta get off this plane. So, look, some people are saying this is Trump's world, but it isn't, okay? It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
This paranoia and the suspicion of one another was created long before Trump. He's capitalizing on it, I get that, right? And that's a point of concern. But we've been doing this to ourselves for a long time now. And so we had the guy who was, and this happened way too many times, the guy who was kicked off a plane for speaking Arabic. Mm-hmm. And then there was the African-American guy who was kicked off because he stood up at one point when somebody was saying what he perceived to be racist behind him. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Yeah. And now there's a war on math.
It's modern-day McCarthyism. When you think about it. And it's scary because if you do anything that could be perceived even a little out of line while you're at an airport or on a plane, you could be a victim of this ridiculous behavior, right? And ridiculous fear-mongering. But I will say that if I reflect on my own life and the things that I was traumatized by, the things that I was terrorized by, I would say that math terrorized me the most. And so I kind of understand,
So, look, the other sad part of this is, I'm not positive he makes it back on that plane if he's Muslim. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't math, but he was writing a poem in Arabic, no way he makes it back on that plane. And I'm not speculating. As I just told you, we covered several stories. The one I remember best is the most recent one of the student who was going to a UN meeting, mm-hmm. could prove that he was going to a UN meeting, and had said, inshallah, means like, I hope so. Like a totally benign word that people outside of the Arabic world use. Armenians, Turks, mm-hmm. a lot of people use the word inshallah. Off the plane you go. Nope, we're suspicious. And so this guy got to go back on the plane because he could prove that it wasn't Arabic mm-hmm. and that he's not Muslim. But so what if he was?
Yeah.
They should have the same exact rights as anyone else. So it's a gross world that we live in where we've got this kind of paranoia now running amok. And it's just perfectly symbolic of a conservative person to be scared by math. Like, facts, figures, freaking me out.